What up, cappers, gamblers, hustlers, punters, low baggers? How you guys doing this morning? Happy Wednesday to all of you. 9:01 a.m. here in San Jose, Costa Rica. We got a big card, big MLB card, and then WNBA Playoffs. We're going to have Parlay Papi joining us in 21 minutes. 15 minutes after that, we will be joined by DJ Big Boss. And then 13 minutes after that, we are going to be joined by Teddy Covers. We have a packed show, and there she is, the birthday girl in the house. Happy birthday, Red Girl says, good morning, everyone. It's a real woman birthday. What's up, family? Red Girl celebrating her 39th birthday. How good does Red Girl look for 39? Damn. Happy birthday, Red Girl. Our sister, our family celebrating her birthday, which means we got to step up our game and get Red Girl some birthday picks today. We got to step up our game. Talk about great news. Talk about starting the show feeling good. Red Girl's birthday and baby Briggs out of ICU now in general, going to go home with his dad, Matt Randall, famed for the taint play of the day, going to go home with his dad and mom within 24 hours. So we have Briggsy going home. We have Red Girl's birthday. We got good vibes in the house. Shout out to everybody else in the chat. Josh Boyne, oh my guy, great hustle. Great hustle. First in the chat, we got Oscar Valverde, Vicente Ramirez, and Deer Slayer Ski, Nut Flush Allen, Carlos Peroge, Shell Dog 83. Nutflush says, Jimmy, glad you jumped on the over in the Giants. Man, was I cheering that Bell home run. When they left the bases loaded, none out, and got 0 runs in, I was like, oh, that was in the top of the 6th for the Pirates. I was like, oh, no. But that saved me. That gave me a 500 day. Ron Crawford in the house. Spreadsheet 3-1 yesterday. Spreadsheet 4-0 the day before. The chat actually didn't have too strong of a day, which means the Vegas Gun Award for excellence in capping goes to the man who's hit 7 of his last 8 on his spreadsheet. Larry, one time for Ron Crawford. Vegas Gun Award for excellence in capping to our guy, Ron Crawford. There's Larry screaming. Larry, could you come in here and give me some arms, man? Can we get some quick arms for Ron Crawford? Let's get some arms. There it is. There it is right there from Larry. Josh Boyne says, I was only on the cards yesterday. Yeah, I am now 1-0 on the season in unders at Coors Field. 1-0. Look at Shell Dog, plus 5.5 units yesterday. Great job, Shell Dog, getting that paper. My God, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And Red Girl saying, thank you very much, Shadow. Red Girl, such a big part of our show, and wonderful to celebrate her birthday. Just puts a big smile on my face. Shadow says, went 2-3 yesterday to 14 parlay overall. Okay, love seeing that. And Cobra Sports, ready to get to work. Okay, we got a lot of work to do. So first off, this second show for me, my man DJ Big Boss, my man Big Ragu, is tonight. The Pick 6 live show, 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you're wondering, is there still time to get in the contest? Yes, there is. You can still get in the contest and win the grand prize. You're able to miss 3 weeks of the season and still qualify for the grand prize. So jump in, and get after it. Here is a link to get in our $50,000 contest, and check out myself, Ragu, and Big Boss. I went ahead. I need to make some moves on this NFL card. I'd like to make some moves now. I'm starting to realize that I need to beat some of these line moves, and then I'm not going to be able to wait for Whale Capper on Friday to make these moves. So I'm going to be really making the moves off of my breakdowns with Donnie and the chat on my Tuesday Audible show. So I'd like to lock in, but I did lock in UCF against Stanford. I did do that. I did lock in UCF. I got him at -7.5, and I got the plus 105 line. I went ahead and hammered that plus 105 line because if you do go 6-0, you do need 1+ line to ensure that you will get the top 6 prize, because we give out top 6. We give out $1,600 a week to the top 6 guys. So I did do that. There's Eric Jones. There's Dat Fire TV. Max play today over a Mercury Sun WNBA game. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Dat Fire. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, look, Dat Fire won a 16 parlay. Beautiful. 20 paid $649 with Padres walk-off. Oh, man. And Drew Martin also hit with that Padres walk-off. Great job from all of you guys. There's Yu Chang Yu in the house that had Tampa Bay Rays last night. So did I. What a freaking sweat. Look at Prince of the City, 5-0 yesterday in tennis. Prince of the City, eating. And Red Girl says, those birthday picks are Mando. We gotta give Red Girl some glory here on her birthday. We gotta give her the goods. There's Nasty Nate in the house. Okay, let's get to work. That fan, number 92 on pick 6, but not optimistic about collecting money. And Nutflush Allen says, let's just say we got in trouble for not paying attention, but we got new listeners. Oh, I love that. Nutflush Allen, I love that so much. And Shadow says, put my 6 in yesterday, went 4-2 last week, hit my 2 times. That's you know what? You go 4-2 and hit your 2-unit play, you're going to, if you do that every week, you'll win. You'll win. There's my guy, An American now. So he'll be joining the show tomorrow, fresh off a huge win in the UFC last week. And Shell Dog says, Padres, baby. Okay, let's get to work because we're going to be joined in 15 minutes by our guy, Parlay Papi. Let me just get a quick idea of what Parlay Papi's looks are so that I don't talk about them in the next 15 minutes. We got to take advantage of as much time as we possibly can here. And he is looking at Angels, Cleveland, Colorado, St. Louis, and Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Mets, Arizona. Perfect. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Going to copy and paste that right now. Here we go. Just so I know what games to talk about. Let's go. Let's get to work. And going over, there's Ski Profit in the house. Gio Mercedes, Jermel Wright, all our guys. And there's Maxwell Smart. Started the morning off with an unpopular pick on France plus 7.5 and hit Czech Republic plus 5.5 live first half. Nice work, Max. Nice work, Max. And there is Viper MB, Yu Chang Yu. Okay, so let's just quickly go over what happened yesterday. Let me go over to my spreadsheet here, my tracker. Yesterday started off badly, and it was stupid not taking the over. Just, I guess it went from 10 to 11, and I didn't want to be late to the party. Stupid not taking the over in the Yankees game. But so it started off awful that first inning. Dodgers put up 4 runs. I looked like an idiot with Orioles first 5 plus a half plus 200 in my pocket. Then Boston, Toronto first 5 under 6. It's 2-1 going into the 5th inning. 2-1, and 4 runs are put up with Rowdy Tellez's 2-run home run, and then the full game goes over. That was extremely disappointing. And then no runs through the first 6 innings of Washington, Minnesota. I started out 0-3, and I'm like, oh God, this is going to be bad. Very bad. But then I started rolling. Then I hit Rays -1. St. Louis, Colorado, first 5 under 8. Lost the Pirates, first 5 plus 109. Hit the Pirates, San Francisco over 8.5. And then easily hit Cincy, Seattle, first 5 under 5. So could you pop up the MLB record for me, Larry, one time? Thank you very much. And Alex Ramirez hit another Spidey play today. I was thinking about you, Spidey. Absolutely great job. There's CT Bays giving out love to our girl, Red Girl in the house. That Fire TV says, love Dallas, Ravens, and Patriots this weekend. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm certainly not going to take the Patriots at -19. Mally Mouse saying St. Louis under 13.5 again. We're going to talk about that game. Must talk about that game. Let's get to work right now, and let's start with this Yankees-Tigers spot. Let's look at the market move and decide how we are going to handle this with CC Sabathia and that bulky right knee of his. Spreads and totals. Boyd's looked okay of late. This Yankees opened up at -195. They're now at -209. If you are going to take the Tigers, it's the same thing with the Orioles, even with means. And I know that already we've had to move towards Baltimore. But I bet you late money's going to come in, public money's going to come in on the Dodgers. And I do want means first 5, but I'm going to wait because that always happens with both the Yankees and the Dodgers. Total opened up at over 9.5, -111. It's now over 9.5, -115. That Fire TV giving us the final score of Patriots 40, Dolphins 6. And I will copy and paste that. And that's Nate's Patriots win by 21. I feel very uncomfortable with a 19-point spread in that kind of a situation, especially when we absolutely know that the heart has to take over at some point for the Dolphins. But let's focus on, there's Jason Tuergy in the house, and Maxwell Smart says New England covers in 19. There's my guy Brian Watson in the house as well. Okay, Yankees, Tigers, 80 Fahrenheit, rain. Rain's only going to be early, but rain could delay the start of this game. 6 miles per hour in is the win. Sabathia versus Boyd. Yankees are hitting 269, 834 OPS versus lefties. Tigers are starting to hit lefties a little better. 258, 714 OPS over the year. Sabathia hasn't pitched since August 30th. You know, I want the Detroit Tigers first 5. If they can get to Sabathia, which we expect, then Domingo Germán's going to come in. First reliever out of the bullpen. He's going to be in a relief role for the rest of the postseason. Boyd's won his last 2 starts, gave a 3-run, 10 hits, 6 1/3 in Kansas City. Didn't look great. Didn't give up a homer after allowing 13 in his last 5 starts. 13 strikeouts when he faced the Yankees on April 3rd. He steps up against these Yankees. CT Bay says Orioles today. Dodgers probably hung over. You know what? I want to back both the Tigers and the Orioles first 5. But I think I'm going to wait. I just expect, as always, money to come in those 2 spots. But I would like to back both the Tigers and the Orioles. Let's move over to that Orioles spot quickly. Stripling means we've seen a move towards, Prince of the City says Sabathia was at U.S. Open every day. Interesting. Jamel Wright says CC on the mound, like first 5 over. Very, very interesting stuff. Randy Lockhart, my guy Randy, coming in saying Sabathia, breaking down his stats, lasted 4.90, an average of 4.90 innings. New York bullpen ERA 4.088 out of 30th. And not flush Allen Patriots to score first, absolutely a no-brainer. I don't mind that look at all. So all that said and done, I think both first 5s for the Tigers and the Orioles are the play, but I expect people to see these numbers and then move over towards the Dodgers. I think public money will come in, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on both these spots. Right now, if I wanted to back the Tigers first 5, I'd get like a plus 168 or plus 170. If I wanted to back the Orioles first 5, I'd be getting plus 157, plus 155. I expect both of those to get better. I expect both of those numbers to get better throughout the day, even though Means has looked so good of late and Stripling very questionable. Very questionable. That's right, Larry. Thank you. Los Angeles, 4 games ahead of Atlanta Braves for the best record in the National League. 1 game behind the Yankees and Astros, so it's not like they're not going to be trying. Justin Turner bothered by the sore ankle. He may come back Wednesday. Verdugo also out. Bleak strain. Stripling started 13 of his 28 starts. His numbers improve each time through the order, which is interesting for him. 258 first time, 226 second time, 188 third time. I was shocked by those numbers. Baltimore dropped 6 in a row, 9 of 10. This is the first time Means has faced the Dodgers. They don't know him. They've not seen him. He's pitched well in his past 4 starts, but has received little offensive support. He's 2-2 with a 2.45 ERA over that span. There's Joey Evang. Was listening to yesterday's show. Nice to have you back. Nice to have you over here, Joey Evang, our guy. Mallie Mouse saying Brett Anderson going to get smacked. I agree with that look. So I like both those spots, but I think I'm going to wait. I expect money to come in on the favorites, and I'm going to wait here. I'm going to wait. Let's talk Braves Phillies, right? We have Braves Phillies is something that Papi wants to discuss. So is Mets Arizona, Angels Cleveland, Colorado, St. Louis. So let's skip Braves Phillies until our guy joins us. There's Jimmy Gomez, yesterday's winner of the Vegas Gun Award for excellence in capping, joining us. There's Dom Ricci in that. There's Super Cisco getting paid out in the Pick 6 contest week 1 after a 6-0 start. Great stuff. All right, let's move on to Red Sox at Blue Jays. That is not a spot for Papi. Yu Cheng Yu says, love the Bills to beat the Giants. They're much better on both sides. However, the last time I thought a team was a lock was the Broncos, so max bet Giants. I'm in the same thing as you, Yu Cheng. I'm in the exact same look. How did the Bills not take care of the Giants? But I'm scared. How did the Chargers and Bills not win on the road against the Lions and Giants? That's what I think. Let's see what Luchace Fox says. What y'all think about Seahawks versus Steelers? I think Seahawks could win outright. I think the Steelers bounce back, but I would definitely not talk you off that, and I'm not going to take the Steelers -4. Although if I had a free play, I probably would, but I think that you have a live dog, Luchace Fox. I think you have a live dog there. CT Bay says, I strongly agree on the Bills over the Giants win by a TD. Brian Watson giving out love to Red Girl for her birthday. And Shell Dog says, like what you're saying, Jimmy, with the O's. Yeah, I'm gonna back both. And Viper saying, have no fear. I would like to back both the Bills and the Chargers. We'll be talking about more of that as we go. Here, I am going to take both the Tigers first 5 and the Orioles first 5, but I'm going to expect public money to come in, and I'm going to wait for that patiently. Let's talk Red Sox, Jays. Let's look at market moves. We've got a lot of work to do. 7 minutes before Papi joins us. Pointer versus Font. Let's go to full game, money lines, and totals here. Here we go. Full games, money lines, and totals. Boston opens up at -130. They're now at -137. Those of you backing the Boston Red Sox today, remember that Mookie Betts is scheduled to have a day off today. Now, we know that's not written in stone until we see the lineup, but that's what's expected. For the Jays and the Red Sox, it opened at 10.5 at -110, and no change there. No change there. Nasty Nate, that's so funny. Luce's Fox says Steelers look so bad. They did, but I have no discomfort backing teams who look terrible week 1 because it wakes them up. And the Dolphins have to show some heart here. Have to show some heart. All right, let's keep rolling along. Red Sox, Pointer. He was sort of Pawtucket's closer. They sort of had a closing by committee, but he did finish a bunch of games. In Pawtucket, he went 2-5 with a 3.77 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, 6 saves, 57 in the third, 70 Ks, 27 walks, 9 homers. It's just going to be a bullpen day for them. And then Wilmer Font, for the Jays, he's 2-2, 3.95 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, but he's starting to get touched. He's starting to look vulnerable. And we remember from Wilmer Font that the Rays gave up on him, the Mets gave up on him, and he looked good at first with the Jays, but not for a long time. Randy Lockhart said Bo Sox in another tailspin. Marku Thierry says, only road team I'm going to take an NFL, San Fran money line. I love that you're on that, Marku. I love that you're on that because so many people backing the Bengals at home, and I don't want to do that. I want to take the Niners as well. So I love that you're on that. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Christopher Smith giving a shout out to Red Girl for her birthday as well. It is Red Girl's birthday. How much love do we have for Red Girl in that? Smiley Mouse says Indians 5-0 this season versus Angels under 4-1. Indians 5-0 on the -2.5. Wow. Carlos Peroge and his cheesy balls letting us know that Red Sox are ready for a vacation. Shout out to our guy Carlos Peroge. So Devers is going to get the day off tomorrow. Mookie Betts today. Bogarts yesterday. Boston expected to use relievers to cover all the last 2 games of the series. Chacin's going to be the opener tomorrow. Toronto stopped that season-high 7-game losing streak. I expect them to come out playing tonight, but I don't know what Trent Thornton is going to give us. And he's just a hard guy to trust right now. Why don't we look at what Trent Thornton has done against these Red Sox bats this year? Trent Thornton, here we go against these Red Sox bats because it's Font and then Thornton, right? Let me just make sure that that's the case. Let me just go to RotoWire and ensure that that is the case here for these Blue Jays. Make sure that it goes Font, Thornton. Is that what's going to happen here? Yeah, and then share with, to me, these dogs all look live today. These dogs all look live. The Jays look live as well, but then you're not getting that big live dog here. You're getting barely a dog with the Jays. So, and money coming in on the Red Sox. That's a questionable situation. I know yesterday went under, and I know there's going to be no Mookie, but I bet you that an over is in play here. I bet you an over is in play. Vaughn Bridges saying Red Sox over is the play. Let's go back to this total. There's been no movement on it at all. Do we get ahead of this movement? I think we do. I think we're not going to be scared that Betts isn't in the lineup, and we should make a move on this over with the guys. I agree. Glenn Elliott Man says, how much did Ant L lose yesterday laying all of that juice? They're not all winning days. And Ant's had a great season. So if anybody I trust for a bounce back spot, it's my guy Antel. All right, and Von Polo on the Phoenix Mercury and the Seattle Storm at -2.5. That is a quick copy and paster right there from Von Polo. There's my guy Jorge. Don't play in the house. I agree. I think the play's on the over here. I do. I think, in fact, even without Mookie Betts, I think that there's over is going to be first 5 full game. I think this is a spot where we can double up on the over. Do you think this will go down to 10 when it's announced that Mookie's not in the lineup? I don't. Wow, the first 5's already at 6. Okay, I'll just take the full game. I'm going to go full game over 10.5 at -105. That can be found at a bunch of different spots here. Let's go full game. The full game over is at -105 at, a bunch of spots. Heritage. Oh, not a bunch. Heritage, 5 times, Pinnacle, everyone else at 10. There's Antoine Seymour in the house. Says Von Polo Sky owned Phoenix, especially at home. All right, going to copy and paste that. It does feel like this is sort of this guy's coming out party in the playoffs. We're going to talk more about that. And then Nutflush Allen coming in, talking about that issue that the Pirates had in their bullpen, little bullpen fight. Says, remember when betting the Pirates, they had a fight in the dressing room between Crick and Vasquez, which resulted in Crick needing surgery. Just think of what the feelings are. And what happens, and we see this happen quite often, is that when the person's at fault, we saw this when Malkin broke whose jaw? It was a few years ago. He broke a guy's jaw in practice. I can't believe it's not coming up to my head. But then he played spectacular. And that's what Vasquez is doing because they feel guilty. No, okay. All right, I'm on the over. That's my first play of the day. Back in the over in this Red Sox-Jays game with no fear that Mookie's not going to be in the lineup. Obviously, I'd like it if he was in the lineup. Next spot's Arizona Mets, and that's another spot that our Parlay Papi is going to be jumping on. And Yu Chang, you backing that. Luce saying, love the look on the Seahawks at plus 180. Keep in mind that Seahawks are below average on the road. Dad Fan says Red Sox have to win some damn game. Red Sox and over tonight. I don't know. I'm happy to sit back with the over. All right, so then let's move on to Brewers Marlins. We now know Christian Yelich done for the season. Brewers Marlins. Yelich done for the season. Zach Davies finally had a good start after looking like trash for a while. Davies 9-7, 3.69 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. Pablo Lopez has looked good at home this year. 5-8, 4.75 overall with a 1.16 WHIP. Brewers are hitting 249, 770 OPS versus righties. Take Yelich out of the lineup. We'll see what those numbers are. Marlins 238, 663 versus righties. Yelich done. Brewers are going for their 6th-8 win. Now Yelich is done, but Moustakas is going to be jumping into the lineup. He's been out since September 2nd with an injured hand. They're also going to get Arcia back next game tomorrow. He's been on paternity leave, had a birth. His wife gave birth. Was it Craig Adams, says Brandon Lugo? I can't. Was it Craig Adams? God, I can't remember who he knocked out there. But he was spectacular after he knocked him out. And God, hockey's right around the corner, man. Davies, 3-2, 5.67 ERA, and 5 career starts against the Marlins. But he had a good start beating the Cubbies on Friday. 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 run, 5 innings. He's a streaky guy. Remos has probably Kessel's job. Yeah, I read that too, Remos. I found that kind of difficult to believe. And I want more on that story. But, if it's the choice between Malkin and Kessel, just cut Kessel. And I don't trust Galchenyuk either, so we'll see how that works. Okay, let's keep rolling. Lopez, 6 scoreless innings in his meeting against Milwaukee on June 4th. 2 career starts against the Brewers. At Marlins Park this year, Lopez 3-3 with an impressive 2.68 ERA. And Ron Crawford backing Seattle -2. Going to copy and paste that. There's Brandon saying, yeah, I can't wait. Money time. Yeah, I really think all of the lessons that Jim Rummy's trying to instill in us, where I've just been kind of cocky about NHL, like don't worry about me in NHL. If I can put Jim Rummy's lessons and put that into my hockey, that's how I can get to plus 50 units. There's sports teacher in the house. Baltimore first 5. I'm going to be on it, but sports teacher, I still think public money is going to come in on the Dodgers, and I'm going to wait at this point. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. New commenter, we got sports teacher in the house. And Red Girl going Sky Links and Sky Over are the plays. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this. Wow, some difference of opinion. And Remo's 3 weeks for opening night in NHL. It's coming fast. It's coming fast. There's Juan Ruiz in the house. Juan Ruiz in the house. Love seeing that. All right, and I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Get all this stuff in because we got to talk about these playoffs. But we are going to wait. We are not going to talk about it until... Damn. Oh, there we go. There we go. Locked it in. All right, it's time to bring in Parlay Papi. Can you get him on the phone? Larry, for me. Thank you very, very, very much. And in this spot with the Marlins Brewers, no afternoon baseball today on this Wednesday. This total opened at 8.5. It's now down to 8. That makes sense to me. I bet you these starters get off to a nice start. And Davies and the Brewers opened up at -180. They're now at -144. 39-cent move towards them. Let's see what Pinnacle opened them up at. Pinnacle just opened up at -161. So a 19-cent move at Pinnacle. These giant moves are very interesting at Bet Online, but I'm starting to think maybe it's best if I move over to Pinnacle for the opening lines. I'm starting to think maybe there's a change needed. All right, let's keep rolling. Okay, there's Jim Rummy in the house. Diamondbacks Mets, we know that Poppy's going to talk about that. And then let's move on to Nationals Twins. Strasburg versus Perez. Perez coming off a nice start. These Nats bets aren't hitting. But we've got our guy Parlay Papi ready to get to work. Melvin Batanza says, what's good, everyone? Should have listened to you yesterday when you mentioned about the road favorites got killed yesterday. You should bounce back today. We're going to get that, Melvin. We're going to get that. And who's going to start leading us in that direction? None other than our Parlay Papi. Randy Lockhart giving us more notes on Lopez, saying home ERA 2.68. Averaging just under 6 innings to start, but Miami bullpen 5.14 ERA, 27 out of 30. There's our guy DX Filer in the house, and Randy Lockhart saying Nats. I agree with that, but let's bring in Parlay Papi now to get this baseball card rolling. So without further ado, representing Los Angeles, California, our guy and yours. Great call on the White Sox team total over yesterday, Papi. Welcome to the show, our guy Parlay Papi. How you doing on this Wednesday morning?
Really good. Having some fucking technical issues, Larry. What the hell? Anyways, we did pretty good yesterday. We did a lot of good insight. We really scripted that Tampa Bay game, right?
We did.
What was our advantage? Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
You got me? All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. So we go 2-1 on the plays. Thought we did really good on the Tampa Bay. Better bullpen. We knew they'd get to the Rangers. But long story short, we're a little late. Let's get on it, man.
Let's get on it. So I see what you're looking at, and you're liking a spot in this Angels-Cleveland game. Why don't you have at it, my guy?
All right, look, this is a little bit of a weird situation. Sweeping the road team. But here's the thing. Plutko is very unreliable on the road, right? And he's been hit by these Angels, 946 OPS and 25 at-bats, excluding Trout, who's hitless against him. Despite this, the Angels aren't really hitting it all right now. With this heavy tax on the bullpen in the last 4 games, 21 innings, even if Plutko gets touched a little bit, I trust a well-rested Indians bullpen to shut this Angels lineup down. So the line is where it is, and I understand it. It doesn't make me think this is like one of those line trap games. It's hard to sweep a team on the road, and Plutko's been touched by these Angels. But on the other side, we got the prospect guy, Peters, winless in his last 3 with a 7.04 ERA. Despite being better at home, we know he's got a wild curveball, getting huge swings and misses. He'll probably be good in the future. But right now, I definitely don't trust him. In the MLB, 115 innings pitched, 5.29 ERA, 1.56 whip. Shutting down left-handed batters. But we know these Indians, what do they roll out? They roll out that giant stacked righty lineup. They'll probably have one lefty in there, if that. So the fact that I got a better bullpen with the Indians, I may have a shaky Plutko, but I know that these Indians can fuck these bullpen boys up on the Angels, who are heavily taxed. And also, I don't trust Peters at all. So I think it's a fair line getting the Indians at -129 here, Jimmy.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. Also, I've been hearing people talking bad about Plutko. He's had 6 straight road starts. That last start against the Twins was excellent. I think that Plutko, I've been very impressed with him, and he takes so much heat. Against Minnie, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 6 strong innings there. He's faced the Angels once. And it came August 3rd. I don't think he was bad. That was a 7-2 win.
I think it was last year too, Jimmy, and he did get touched up a little bit.
Really? Because I've got Plutko face Angels once in his career. August 3rd, allowed 1 run, 5 hits, and 5 in the third, and a 7-2 win. Let's go to baseball data right now. Make sure that I'm not wrong with that stat line here. Let me just quickly get there. Here we go.
The guys who've touched him, it's everyone basically but Trout, and it wasn't too bad. Only 7 runs.
Really? I guess I have. Wow. Yeah, you're right. They did 2 home runs. I have 2 runs against them. 2 home runs. 2 runs, but 7 RBIs, so that doesn't make sense. So it's guys who are not in the lineup anymore who got to him on the big RBIs. I hear you. It's a very small sample size. I like what Plutko's done. 6 straight road starts. I'm going to keep, there's a Stooch in the house, MVP Sportsbook, Stooch in the house. I'm going to make a move here with you. I'm going to make a move on these Cleveland Indians, and you know what? I don't mind if Trout is announced in the lineup. That's not gonna make me panic. Nice that you got -129. I can't get that right now. I can only get -132. Let's see what I get on the -1 line quickly. I'm gonna take a look at point spread, see if that makes sense for me with these Cleveland Indians. It does. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take them on the -1 line right now because I'm getting a +120 on the run line. Roll into your next game while I lock this in for myself.
So let's look at the Cardinals game. I'm actually really glad that they lost because this is a big spot. This is basically the only team that they're going to face in the next month that is not a winning team. So they really need to get this series done. In fact, they haven't lost a series since early August. And the fact that we got our guy Chichi Gonzalez, you got to root for a guy with a name like that. No hard feelings. I'm glad he got the W last night. But we know this is our money-making machine right here on the Cardinals, right? All-Star break, just incredible, incredible. Still need to lock something up here. You know, Cubs closing in quick, so they got motivation. On the pitching staff, Senzatella, this is another guy that is on the rotation because there's nobody out. I guess this Colorado team really needs a complete overhaul in the way that they operate their business because they basically don't have a farm system. They got a bunch of guys locked up in the contracts that don't make any sense. So they're going to be stuck in this little predicament for a while. That's why Senzatella's up here. He's a fucking bad pitcher post All-Star break. He's got promise, you know what I mean? He has definitely got some stuff that will be a benefit to this team in the future, but right now we know he's in terrible form. And on the Cardinals, I have Dakota Hudson, absolute stud right now, with a very well-rested bullpen in the Cardinals. We got our guy Carlos Martinez, the great closer, available tonight. And the only asterisk on this game for me is the fact that Hudson on the road is very vulnerable against these left-handed batters. And the Colorado Rockies can definitely roll out quite a few right here. He's got a 900 OPS versus lefties, so that's a little buyer beware. But you got to remember, in the last 7 days, the Colorado Rockies are hitting a league worst 477 OPS. And we know that this bullpen is completely unreliable. You know what I mean? We got that's another thing with these contracts and these guys they took down in the bullpen department. Like, that's going to help up there. Jesus Christ. But regardless, I got the Cardinals here on the road. I'm going to take a -1 because we know that most of the time in that Coors Field ballpark, people aren't winning just by one run. You know what I mean? So let's go with the better bullpen, the better pitcher, the team that's on a hot streak, and the team that needs to lock something up over here against the only team that they're going to be able to face that is sub 500, the Rockies. They're going to take care of business today. They're going to take care of business tomorrow. So I'm going to ride with them here, -1, Jimmy.
I get it. You know, and the Cardinals do have a tough schedule coming on, but I get a little nervous when some of these pitchers who are just rolling then go into Colorado. Maybe I shouldn't, you know, and Senzatella's been so bad. But I've seen this small market move already to St. Louis. I imagine public money is going to come all over St. Louis soon. St. Louis got up.
Think about it like this, right? Hudson, so vulnerable against these left-handed batters. Let's say he gets abused, right? Let's say they get up 6 runs in the first 4 innings. Don't count the Cardinals out. Remember how many fucking games these Colorado Rockies have blown, you know, after the 4th or 5th inning. This could fly over, and I think that the bullpen in St. Louis is significantly better. So they still have a chance, you know what I mean? That's why I don't want to do the first 5 so much, just in case, similar to what we did with the Rays yesterday. We know that they're going to be able to dig into this bullpen a little bit. Worst case scenario, Jimmy.
I hear you, and it makes perfect sense. So I'm not going to make that move at this point. It just feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little uncomfortable. But I get it, and I can completely understand this look. What's next on your card?
Those are the only 2 plays I feel very comfortable with. But what are you thinking here on the Arizona spot? We got a real interesting matchup with a very shaky right now, Robbie Ray, right? And the fact that Arizona's very close, you know, they've been on a heater. They've been making everybody some money too. And we have Matz, who's in such good form right now. I'm a buyer on Matz right now, even though I faded him, you know, last month. He's riding right now. So what I was looking at is what do we think is going to happen here? I'm really predicting like a first 5 Mets, but an Arizona win. And the Arizona at plus 109 or 7, I believe, is a little bit tempting because I don't think that Matz is going to go super deep. I think that some of the boys are going to get off on Ray. because Mets versus lefties at home, that's so good. And Robinson Cano, 5 for 9 with a homer, and he's on fire right now. Maybe look at some player props for Robinson Cano. But I'm very unsure of what move to make. Do you have any feels on this, Jimmy?
Randy Lockhart says, got to go with the Mets. Black Rogue says, I'm going with the Diamondbacks again. D-backs hammer lefties. I'd love to hear what, and Don Reed said that Arizona heater stopped a few days ago. This is a tough spot because we know that these Diamondbacks have about 100 OPS points better power numbers against versus the Mets against lefties. But the Diamondbacks have now lost 3 straight. They're kind of dangling in that wild card spot. Ray allowed 3 runs over 4 in the third against the Reds, but he's 2-0 with a 0.82 ERA, 4 starts against the Mets. Mets gave up 2 runs and 5.
That was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even look at that.
Yeah,
I don't think he's faced him since 2017.
That makes a ton of sense. There, you're right. Matt's 1-1 with a 4.76 ERA, 4 career starts against the Diamondbacks. Randy Lockhart says Matt's a pitching edge today and have taken the first 2 games of the series with the long ball. Expect more of the same today. Dom Ricci wondering what the team total is for the Mets. I agree with you. It's a bit of a tricky spot. Let me get this going. I'm gonna get this team total in for our guy.
I think it's 3.5 for Arizona because I was looking at the first 5 earlier. But the first 5 is 1.5 with the plus money. And Mats hasn't been hit by these Diamondbacks, but that's when he goes and visits them. I think he did host them last year and he did really well. So that's what took me off the total so much here.
The team total for the Mets at Heritage is 4.5 at plus 115, which means you can find a 3.5. There's Nate Dogg in the house. Dominic said Mets hit lefties. I'm not playing any Mets sides, like I said on Monday. My lean is Mets team total over. Super Cisco Diamondbacks Mets under 8, going under again. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to stay off this spot at this point. And then you're also looking at this Braves-Philly spot. I'd love to hear what you're thinking.
I mean, Keuchel's looking decent, but man, how bad has he been on the road this year? You know what I mean? 300 batting average alone on the road this year in the 12 games he's played, and he's dealt the Phillies pretty decent right now. But if the Phillies are going to go anywhere, right, the Braves kind of have their stuff locked up. I think they're in no matter what on that number 1 spot. But the Phillies are in that dogfight to get somewhere, and I think that if there's a time, maybe to back them, it would maybe be in the next few games where we can see, okay, these guys are serious, or just kind of put them off to the side. Because, I mean, look at it like this: Eflin has been abused by these Braves recently, right? But at home, he's definitely a little bit better. And I don't know. I don't know if the Braves are going to completely light him up today. The Phillies might actually do some work on Keuchel. I'm assuming they do. Because I was leaning the first 5 under. That was the first look I had. But then I realized how volatile that could be with Keuchel being such a home pitcher this year. He's really struggling if you look at all the metrics on the road. And then Eflin, the only time we really want to back him is at home. So if there's a spot for the Phillies, I would feel like it's today. Jimmy, what do you think about that?
I think that's a great look. And we've seen the market move towards the Phillies. But still, regardless of how bad Keuchel's been on the road, he's given up 3 runs in his last 5 starts. And I'm impressed. Seems like he's locked in right now. But I agree with you. Eflin's not as bad as he's looked against the Braves. I mean, he's looked awful against the Braves. 19.06 ERA this season against them. 17 runs, 12 earned, and 5 2/3. This is Steve Priest says Keuchel's been good, and Mally Mal saying Keuchel should be good. But this is one of those games that I probably want to stay away from. Not trusting.
Well, during that one streak, right? That one game. The 5 games he had with this cool streak he's on, 3 runs, whatever. They've all been at home. And the one game that he went away with was at the Mets during a point where the Mets were in a bad spot. I forgot what the matchup was, but it wasn't too favorable for the Mets. So it's not like that's real indicative of how he's doing on the road because it's so bad. So I might do a little more research, see if I want to take the Phillies here. I'm not sure.
Well, I look forward to hearing if you are going to back the Phillies. I'm going to stay off of it. And there's our guy, Matt Randall, in the house. We've sent so much love in that direction. The Randall family going to be going home very soon. Makes me so happy. What a wonderful way to start the show, talking about Briggsy on his way out of ICU into general and then soon back home and Red Girl's birthday. So wonderful. I like your looks and I tailed the Cleveland look. I'm a little hesitant with the Colorado St. Louis look, but I get it. I absolutely get it. Prince of City says, if you guys actually listen, it sounds like you're reaching for angles on bad teams and trying to figure out baseball when the end is near. I hear that. Viper MB says, my only bet today is the Indians money line. I like seeing that. And at this point, Mally Mal says, Eflin pitched against San Diego and 2 versus Mets, both inconsistent offense, and Keuchel on 4-game winning streak. And there's
what did this guy say? Reaching for angles? Yeah. Isn't that what you're fucking doing on this show? Isn't that the whole point of this? Like we're breaking down the game and trying to reach for something to cash buck. What the fuck is that all about?
And there's and look at Gas Station Sushi. Max bet on Diamondbacks money line. Wow. And there's our guy Intex meniscus and MCL repair today. Surgical center was in the Star. Wow, in the Cowboys practice facility. Nice to hear you are feeling better and on the mend, Intex. All right, all that said and done, I'm not going to make any extra moves on those plays, but I'm looking forward to hear what you're going to do on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, where can we find you, and can you please review your action?
Yes, we're going to do Cardinals -1. Or I'm sorry, we're gonna do Indians money line, Cardinals -1, and I have a couple leans, but those are the 2 plays. Looking at maybe Phillies, maybe not, maybe Mets first 5, maybe not. We'll see. But you can always find me at Papi_parlay. I was listening to the show earlier. I heard there's some trouble with our guy Matt Randall and family. Sending much love to you, my guy. I hope everything works out, and I'm sure it will. Got the squad behind you, my man. So hope things look up, and I'm sure they will. So we will see you guys next week on Tuesday to cash that buck. Good luck to everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
There he is, Parlay Papi. Every Tuesday, Wednesday morning, right here on Betting with the Bag, our guy Parlay Papi. All right, let's keep hammering these games. We have 9 minutes before Teddy Covers joins us. As we know, I am leaning towards Orioles first 5. I'm also leaning towards Tigers first 5. But let's keep rolling through this card and see if we can touch on each of these games before we're joined by Teddy Covers. Let's go back to this Nats twin spot. I probably should have asked Poppy about it. Also, Nuffle Sean saying, remember to be careful in the NFL this week as these teams will make adjustments defensively, and what looks to be easy overs will not be so easy. Steve Priest says St. Louis bounce back with Hudson. We shall see. Let's see. Okay, Nationals. I wonder if Strasburg is the kind of guy who can turn around this losing streak. I mean, I guess what's 5 of 6 that the Nationals have lost, at least 4 of 5, and money coming in on him and the Nationals. Washington's bats are cold right now. I don't want to go against. I mean, anytime the Twins are a home dog, seems like people want to hammer it. You know, there's Anthony Chalmers in the house. All right, Nationals Twins. I'm just going to stay off of, but I do figure that Strasburg is the right guy to get them off of this losing streak. So let's move on to Rays Rangers. Kittredge against Jurado. Jurado has not looked good as a starter, and he's going to be a starter here. That is the expectation. They do not have an opener planned. Let's see, Jurado and Pruitt will be the primary. Pruitt has not looked great, but I still think that these Rays are just so much better than these Rangers. Rays are hitting 254, 764 OPS. Rangers are hitting 251, 756 OPS, so similar numbers for the two teams against righties. But the Rays are just a game and a half up on Oakland and 2 games up on the Indians. Have to keep going. But now Avisel Garcia left Tuesday's game with right hip tightness. I still feel like this is a nice spot for the Rays to keep on winning. Let's see what we're doing. Market move here, joined in 7 minutes by our guy Teddy Covers. Here we go. Let's take a quick look. So money coming in on the Rangers. Interesting. Open at -150. Now at -143. A 7-cent move towards the Texas Rangers. I want to keep backing the Rays, but I guess I'll just leave that as a lean at this point and wait to see the lineups because they are dealing with some injuries. Also, Kiermaier banged up a bit. Then we're already on the Indians -1. Let's move over to Royals, White Sox, Sparkman versus Lopez. Sparkman's just not to be trusted. Just not a good pitcher and terrible on the road. I know the White Sox are only hitting 2.48, 698 OPS versus righties, but you think they can get to him. The thing is do you want to back Ronaldo Lopez, after he's gone a complete game? I don't know if you do either. I don't know if that's a spot where you want to back him through a complete game in Cleveland. 1 hitter, 7-1 victory, struck out 11 to walk 3, 70 of his 109 pitches, 4 strikes. And there's the Taint play of the day. Pirates money line. Says, I like this play, but after Dom Ricci said that when the last 3 Taints lost, the same play won the following day. Love the angle. Taint is the Pirates. Taint is the Pirates. That is a copy and paster. Jerry Beatty saying White Sox play of the day. I wonder if Jerry, Death Fire TV says White Sox roll. Interesting. Let's see what we're getting. Let's see what we're getting if we back these White Sox right now. Opens at minus 160 now, minus 162. I agree with that. I agree with that White Sox probably being the play. I just don't like backing Lopez after he has this complete game. That's just a bit of and it shouldn't be a red flag, but it just seems to be with some of these bunk pitchers that after a spectacular start, they seem to kind of not look quite as good the next. I'm just going to leave that as a lean at this point. Now, A's, Astros, Brett Anderson versus Urquidy. I think there's going to be runs here, but again, do we want to back runs after there's 60 runs scored in the first 3 games, 60 plus? I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Jerry Beatty saying Royals bullpen is a gas can. I agree with that. I think the White Sox are probably the play. I just want to sit with this Lopez look for a little bit longer. A's, Astros. Let's see what's going on here. A's, Astros, Anderson versus Urquidy. It's a bullpen day for the Astros, but they were expecting to have a fresh bullpen, and they don't because Miley didn't even get out of an inning again. Anderson gets touched in these parks, like on the road against an Astros team that's 281, 874 OPS versus lefties. But this total is down to 10.5 at Pinnacle. That's enough to give me pause. If Pinnacle's moved it down to 10.5, I'll wait. But I do think that the over, I'm just going to leave the over as a lean and keep working on it. Let's keep going. And pull this. How can you not unload on the over? Just when Pinnacle moves it from 11 to 10.5, that's the reason why I'm not unloading on it. So many runs have been scored in the first 3 games. Do they settle down a bit tonight? Then Cardinals, Rockies. We already heard this breakdown. Dakota Hudson versus lefties. Let's see exactly what Dakota Hudson numbers are versus lefties, just so we know exactly what we're dealing with in this spot if you're going to back Dakota Hudson. And Big Goose says Nats versus Dodgers and NLDS. Look out, LA. Wow, that's an interesting look. And here we go with Dakota Hudson. Let's just quickly look at his splits here because this is not going to be an easy task. And I know he's been so good, but he's been so good at home as well. 4.01 ERA on the road. Let's take a look at his splits. Let's see what he looks like against lefties here. Take a look at him against lefties. Luchase Fox on the Astros team total over. Interesting. All right, let's go to complete splits. Let's get that moving quickly. Here we go. And against lefties are hitting 266, but with an 831 OPS against them. And there's some tough left-handed bats in that lineup. I'm not going to make Cardinals just seems too easy, and with Dakota Hudson, I'm going to stay off of that spot. Then we have Pirates, Giants, and Matt Randall going back with the taint play today with these Pirates. Let's take a look at the market move here because Logan Webb looked very good in his home start and looked bad in his road starts. He likes pitching at home. This is a young kid. Giants open up at minus 145. There's now minus 138. So there's been a 7-cent move towards the Pirates. You know, if Matt wasn't on the Pirates, I'd probably be leaning towards the Giants. This Pittsburgh bullpen's been very good since that altercation with Vasquez. And Vasquez has stepped up through a 1-2-3 ninth yesterday. Mally Mouse says Cards will hit this dude today. Mally Mouse said, I told you guys Chi would have confidence. He won that game crazy. He sure did, Mally Mouse. We were both on that under. I love it. Logan Webb, first home win in just his second home start. He pitched well, though. Limited San Diego Padres to 1 run in 5 2/3. The Padres hit lefties. So I kind of lean towards the Giants, but I hate hearing that the taint's on the other side, so maybe I'll stay off. Then we have Cubs, Padres, Hamels, Paddock. So we have Cubs, Padres, and Reds, Mariners as the last 2 games on the card. Then we've touched each and every one of these games. Hamels, Paddock, Cubs are 30-43 on the road and need to win now. And with the injuries that they've been dealt in the infield, having Zobrist back in the infield, 2 throwing errors in crucial situations. Hamels 7-6, 3.95 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. Paddock 8-7, 3.54 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. Cubs are hitting 256, 794 OPS versus righties. Padres hit lefties hard, as we know, 260, 789 OPS. Cubs have now lost 4 or 5 and need to win now. In his latest outing, Hamels 5 runs, 9 hits, 3 1/3, 8.53 ERA over his past 6 starts. But he's always pitched well in his hometown of San Diego. But he hasn't faced them. He faced them once since 2016. So I don't know if we trust that he's being good there. Alex Ramirez leaning Padres, and I get why he is. I really do get why you are leaning Padres in this spot, but you never know when Hamels is going to step up. Padres open as a minus 115 favorite. They're now just minus 105, so a 10-cent move towards the Padres. I guess you're right. I'm going to lean towards the Padres. And our guy DX Filer is saying, Alex, get me another play of the day of Sap. That's Sap. Gerald Martinez says, why did Madden leave Cishek in that inning? Ridiculous. It was. Madden's been questionable of late. Hey, Haley saying, anybody on Wake -3? I've seen a lot of people on Wake -3, and we'll be talking to Teddy Covers about that very soon. Then the final game on this card is Reds Mariners. 69 Fahrenheit, overcast, 3 miles per hour out to right. Sonny Gray pitching very well. 10-6, 2.75 ERA, 1.10 whip. Randy Lockhart on the Braves over 9. Braves over 9. I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Braves over 9 by our guy, Randy Lockhart. Copy and paste that. Here we go. And consider that copied and pasted. Copied and pasted. Anthony Chalmers says, you like the under 8 in the Cubs game? No, I don't. I can't trust Hamels right now. So, not that I don't. I'd have to spend some more time on it, but I don't trust Hamels by any source of the imagination. All right, Pink Eye Genie giving us more WNBA numbers. Going to quickly copy and paste that. Cishek, thank you. I knew it wasn't Kishek. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. A little overwhelmed here. Of course, it's Cishek. Okay, thank you, Comic Ricky. And going back to this spot, final game on the card, Reds, Mariners. Reds are hitting 254, 740 OPS versus lefties. Mariners 235, 739 OPS versus righties. Mariners just snapped a 6-game losing streak. Gonzalez 6.75 in just 2 relief appearances against Reds. Put a line through that. Been hit hard his last 2 starts. Combined 11 innings at Houston and Texas. 14 hits, 9 runs, 3 home runs, 7 walks. Just 2 strikeouts. Just 2 strikeouts in those 11 innings. Gray's won 5 straight decisions, coming off 2 straight no decisions, but he's been very good. 1 earned run over his last 12 2/3. I don't know how we don't back the Cincinnati Reds, and Von Polo is on the Reds. Randy Lockhart says, lean Reds. Sonny Gray 1-0, 1.45 ERA over his last 3 starts. Both teams are pretty bad. Also, Steve Priest has the 13-in-a-row streak catcher picked Brewers, Marlins over 8.5. That's an interesting look. There's Eric Nisbet in the house. Jerry Beatty says, Gray gets it done. I'm with Jerry on this. I am with Jerry on this. No worries. Thank you for the heads up, Larry. I am with Jerry on this. I think the Reds get it done. Let's see if I should take them on the -1.5 here. And do I need to take them on the -1.5? There's a +115 out there at Heritage. This money line's -140. I think I will. It's just a little out of my limit there. But I'm getting a -1, so I'm going to take the Reds on the -1 line. Reds -1. That is a money line of -140. Money line of -140. And a -1.5 line of +115. All right, so I don't have a lot of plays on this card. Now, I am very close to making moves on the Tigers first 5 and the Orioles first 5, but I do still expect public money to come in. Jamal Stone says Red Sox tonight. Nope. Seems like they waved the white flag. I still think the over can be in play. You know what? I'm on the over right now, and I do expect, even without Mookie Betts in the lineup, that the over should be on play. Nutflush Allen says, Jimmy, wait on Giants. I will. Pink Eye Genie back to the WNBA Playoffs says, can see Lynx hanging around with their D, but if Storm guards play well, it's over. Home court is such an advantage. We have people on each side of the WNBA right now. All right, so we have gone over each and every one of the MLB games on this packed card. So we're going to be jumping over to Teddy Covers right now. But here are the only 3 plays that I'm on. Still expecting public money to come in on both the Yankees and the Dodgers. So I will wait for those first 5s to back the dogs there. But the plays I am on right now, very small card for me, which is what I've been doing, even though I ended up making 8 plays, going 4 and 4 yesterday. Red Sox, Jays, I'm on the over 10.5 at -105. And I don't care that Mookie's not going to be in the lineup. I think that both these pitchers get touched. We have a bullpen day for the Red Sox today and tomorrow. And Wilmer Font has not looked as good since he's come over. Or in the last 3 or 4 opening starts, he's not looked as good. And we remember the Rays got rid of him and the Mets got rid of him. So I'm on the over 10 there. And then I'm on 2 -1 spots, that being the Cleveland Indians and the Cincinnati Reds. That's what I'm on right now. Rod Zawacki says Baltimore is the sucker bet today. Dodgers still have home field to win. I would only take him first 5 to back John Means, who's 2-2 with a 2.54 ERA in his last 5 starts, and the Dodgers bats have never seen him. But I hear what you're saying, and I am listening. And Sherigan Amaterasu is saying, yo, Jimmy, don't bet against the Yankees. So, I mean, I can understand that these are teams that people believe in, and it's tough to go against them. So I'm hoping Public Money will be doing exactly what you guys are doing, so I'll get a better line. And that's what's up. Okay, let's bring in our guy, Teddy Covers, representing Las Vegas, Nevada. Teddy Covers joining us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the morning shows here at Betting with the Bag, and joining us right now. Please welcome to the show, Teddy Covers. Teddy, how are you doing on this Wednesday morning?
I'm doing all right, Jimmy. How about yourself? Whoa, my head's really big in that camera. And my light's really, hang on, let me change the settings on this. I'm looking real bright over there.
Sure. I did go ahead and make a move, Teddy. I did go ahead and make a move in NCAA football. I'm going to pull up the market move and see if we got ahead of this line. Drew Martin jumped on our show and talked about the UCF Stanford spot. Big Ragu and Big Boss were in our chat. And the first thing that Big Boss was talking about was the star left tackle of Stanford being hurt. We talked about UCF at you could get them at -7, and I did get them on the show at -7. I bet them at -7.5, and with the expectation that this market would be moving in UCF's favor. And let's see if that has happened. Here we go. Where is it? So many games. Where is UCF? I can't find it right now, but I will get it in a second. What do you think of this spot backing UCF against Stanford?
Yeah, let me just check that number for you real quick. There are a million games on tap. For the weekends, if you don't have the number memorized, you're like, yeah, it's on there somewhere.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Here, I got it on my short list because I have UCF on my short list this week. I'm absolutely the only way I'm going to look. It shows UCF game number 136, and that number right now, the 7.5, and they're 8 starting to pop up. So I do anticipate that line continuing to rise, and I can understand it. Look, UCF is not going to take their foot off the gas pedal in this game. They got Stanford coming to town. They are absolutely focused, and this is a blowout team. UCF is a team that, the offense continues to roll as the game progresses. The question is that offense going to work as well against Stanford's D, but, I mean, the difference between Stanford at home week 1 against Northwestern and Stanford on the road at USC last week was night and day. Traveling east, I don't like anything about this Cardinal team. I really don't. I see a program that's been at a very high level that is in gradual decline right now. And when you have a team like that and a program like that that's going south, and they're facing a talented and motivated foe that isn't going to stop punching when they get a lead, yeah, UCF or pass for this better. And it is one that you want to get down on sooner rather than later, obviously with the left tackle injury for Stanford, as well as their quarterback, who, I'm not a Costello fan to begin with, but it's certainly an issue for the Cardinal.
Oh, I agree. I've already locked that in. That's my only play on this NCAA football card. I also added that to my Pick 6 contest, and I got it +7.5 and +105. And I think that if you are trying to cash in the contest, because we give out $1,600 a week, you should find 1+ line in your selections. Because what we've seen, the 2 winners, because a bunch of people went 6-0, but the first place and second place both had 1+ line. One was +105, one was +102. So they both end up, in a 6.05 units up for the week, and that allows them to get paid. Teddy, a lot of people...
Let me talk about that for just a second, Jimmy, because that's a really important contest strategy. We talk so much about contest, but proper contest strategy is to give yourself just that little boost to get you over anyone else that went 6-0 that week. So it makes a ton of sense to place something on the money line or to find one dog. And the bigger one you can get, the more likely you are, if you have that perfect week, of actually taking home the money. So that's great contest strategy. I'll give credit to the guys that used that strategy this last week. It paid off.
Yeah, it did pay off. So, yeah, great call. I love backing that strategy. Thank you for adding that in. Teddy, a lot of people in the chat, and in the chat, feel free to send your questions in. I will ask them. But a lot of people in the chat saying, does Teddy have any looks on MLB? We did touch on each and every one of these games. Teddy Covers, do you have any looks on MLB on this card today?
So I did not make a bet in baseball today. The only bet I made yesterday, I'm still frustrated with that game. I bet against the Rockies, and the Rockies managed to score 2 runs and win. Which will happen on occasion, even at Coors Field, but not very often. But I would look to go against the Rockies again today. You talked about Cleveland -1. That was one that absolutely stood out to me on my short list, 2 favorites. And then the other one that I was looking at was the Astros and the A's over the total. It's cashed each of the last 2 days. I wouldn't be surprised if it cash again on Wednesday. So that was my 3-play short list, and I didn't pull the trigger on any of them. My focus at this time of the year is much more on football than MLB. And when it comes to baseball in September, you better be paying attention to the nuance. You know as well as anyone, Jimmy, what teams, who they're playing, what their rotations are. Once you expand those rosters, things look very, very different compared to most of the regular season. And a lot of these big favorites, everyone's talking about, you don't want to bet against the Yankees, you don't want to bet against the Dodgers, and et cetera, et cetera. That was the case all year long. Come September, sometimes you see these teams take their foot off the gas pedal, and that's something that I'll be looking for over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I like it, and I'm trying to get my quantity of plays down. Teddy, I would like to lock in some NFL spots, and I have some questions that I want to fire at you right now.
Go.
First off, charge 2 road favorites, and I'm sitting here going, how do I not back these teams? And I'm also looking at my past record in NFL in week 1, 2, 3, and this is a mistake that I make. Road favorites in week 2. First off, both these spots, I'm switching also on settings at Sportsbook Review odds page. I'm switching from a Bet Online opener over to a Pinnacle opener because Bet Online, the opening lines for week 2 came out before week 1 started, so they're not really helpful here. So I'm moving over to a Pinnacle opening line for this. Both of these spots, money's coming in on the home underdog. The Chargers and the Bills, Teddy. The Lions look bad and should inspire no confidence. The Giants made Dak Prescott look like a elite passer in the NFL with a perfect passing rating. How do I not take the Chargers and the Bills, Teddy? Should I pump the brakes because I want to pull the trigger now?
Let's talk about the odds page at sportsbookreview.com because, as you mentioned, you can change the feed for who the opener is. It's a really good tool. It's a tool that all of you should be using on a daily basis. I use it. I've got it bookmarked. That live odds page is worth something, and it's something you want to be paying attention to. And the settings are adjustable, which I love. You don't always get that from a free live odds page. Of the 2 road favorites you're talking about, the one that I'm interested in is Buffalo, not Detroit, not LA. But let's take the 2 games individually. Chargers defense got gashed last week. I mean, start to finish, they got gashed. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. The loss of Derwin James is going to matter for LA. And offense makes the highlight reels. Defense cashes your ticket. I didn't see what I wanted to out of the Chargers out of week 1. And the Lions, I mean, it's one of those week 1 deals where teams haven't played for 60 minutes. The Lions were comfortably in control of that game. They fell asleep in the 4th quarter against a rookie quarterback who got hot. And that happens. But I did not downgrade Detroit off of that loss or that tie. It felt like a loss. But I didn't downgrade the Lions off of that. They dominated the game. They just fell apart late on the road, which teams sometimes do, especially week 1. So a team that doesn't play defense laying points on the road to a team whose final score wasn't as bad as they played in Detroit, yeah, I can understand why the wise guys are betting the Lions plus in that game. I didn't bet it, but I'm not laying with the Chargers. I know that. The other game, however, makes a ton of sense to me. Here's Buffalo, who rallied from behind. After, they turned the ball over 4 times in the first half against the Jets, and they trailed, 6-0 at the break? That's a defense that's making plays. All right, Bills' defense is real. We saw that all preseason. We saw that last year. We certainly saw it in week 1. When your offense turns it over 4 times, you're down 6-0 at the break. You're doing something right, not wrong. So I believe in the Bills' defense. And Josh Allen, I mean, it wasn't pretty. Bills' offense isn't going to be pretty. But they take shots, which I like, and there's some balance there, which I like. And they have a quarterback that can move, which I like. Giants defense, there was nothing to like. I mean, they got absolutely gashed. And when we're talking about, Eli Manning versus Josh Allen at this stage of his career, no big advantage for Eli. So Buffalo, of those 2, is the one that I would be much more inclined to lay the points with than LA. One team's playing defense, one team isn't.
I hear that, and the Derwin loss has been huge. Let's go back to the Chargers spot for a second. I'm interested in the over, and so is Comic Ricky and Dom Ricci from our chat. This total opened at 47. It's creeping up. There's 47.5s and 48s are now on the board at a bunch of boards. Actually, they only have 3 47.5s left. What do you think of the over in the Chargers-Lions game, especially with the lack of defense shown by the Chargers last week?
If I was going to play the total, that's the only way I would play it. Again, when you're playing overs, you want overs in games with good quarterbacks. Stafford, Rivers, good quarterbacks. Defenses, don't trust either one. Of course, that's the one that makes sense. I'm not loading up on totals the first couple of weeks of the NFL season, but this is certainly one that I would consider Over's the only way I would look.
Yes, I like that. I got anyone asking questions, I will copy and paste them and ask them too. I just need a couple more questions with Teddy on this NFL card. And where do I need, okay, well, there's so many games I want to talk about, but let's talk about, I love the Niners. I understand the Bucks had the flu going through their locker room, things of that nature, but it's a very tough place to play in Tampa this time of year. So hot, so humid. The 49ers don't go back to San Francisco. They go right up to Youngstown, Ohio, and spend the week together without their wives and girlfriends there to focus on football. Their defense looked very, very good. Maybe that's easy to do against Winston, but they did look very good. And the Bengals are taking money. And I just feel like as soon as Jimmy G understood that he doesn't need to take risks because of how strong the pass rush is, how strong the defense is. 49ers now good. That front seven looks, Ford looked so good. With the way the Niners were playing. Also, one thing that was shocking was Mike Evans getting shut down by Witherspoon. Now, maybe Mike Evans was dealing with the flu, but I liked what I saw from the 49ers. But should I be hesitant to back them here in Cincinnati?
So there's a lot to talk about there. I had a very different impression of the 49ers Bucks game than you did. And I had a ticket on San Fran last week, and obviously it cashed. I thought Tampa played much better than I thought they would. I mean, the Bucks' problem was Jameis Winston. Winston threw some picks. Evans was dealing with the flu. He was nowhere near 100% in that ball game. But Tampa ran the football effectively against San Francisco all afternoon. That's a concern. Jimmy G wasn't sharp. He wasn't sharp at all in that game. That's a concern. The 49ers defense had intercepted a grand total of 2 passes for the entire season last year. Got 3 against Jameis, and 2 of them were returned for touchdowns, and that was the difference in the ball game. But it wasn't San Fran's offense dominating that game. All that said, this point spread is ridiculous to me. It's stupid. I could only take San Fran in this point spread range because the betting markets are betting the box score. And the Bengals had a good box score last week, and the 49ers didn't have a great box score. So they say, oh, look, Cincinnati moved the ball all up and down the field. John Ross, he's scary. All that's true. But the Bengals did what the Bengals do. Andy Dalton doesn't make plays in the red zone since he found a way to lose the game. Zach Taylor looked overmatched in his first game as a head coach, and I don't trust Cincy to win games right now. I love the fact that San Fran stayed out east. I love the fact that they won a game in which they didn't play their best, but San Fran is the only way I could look in this one, but there were a lot of red flags in that opener from the 49ers that do concern me here. But from a pure value perspective, again, they're betting box scores. The betting markets, when it comes to week 1, it's all overreaction. And I really think they're overreaction about how good the box score for Cincinnati looked. They moved the ball against Seattle. Okay, Seattle's not that good. The money's coming against Seattle already this week.
I like that. I like that breakdown. I know we've got questions coming in about college football, and I want to get there, but I need to hear about a couple more spots. I need to hear what you think of this Bears-Broncos under. I thought it was going to open at 38 and a half. It opened up at 40 and a half. I don't want to make the mistake that we do overemphasizing what we saw in week 1 and letting that skew what these teams really are. There's been no movement on this 40 and a half total. I think I was shocked to see Denver's pass rush and edge rush not show up in Oakland. Is that Oakland's strong offensive line? I mean, time will tell. I was shocked to see Chubb and Von Miller not doing anything. But Trubisky does not look good. These are 2 very strong defenses, I thought. And why is money not coming in on the under? Is it too low of a total in week 2 of the season?
It's the lowest total on the board, by a field goal at least. So it's not like it's this crazy high total. This is the baseline for NFL totals these days. It doesn't get a whole lot lower than 40 unless there's weather issues late in the season. And that's obviously a big difference from where it was, a decade ago. And we would see totals of 34 and a half sometimes in an NFL game. These 2 teams are both built on defense. It feels like a defensive scrum going into the game. Both coaches are defensive minded. Certainly Fangio, you would think, would have a pretty good idea of how to defend Trubisky and company. Certainly Flacco is not a quarterback who's scaring anyone at this stage of his career. It's an under that makes a ton of sense. which, from a betting standpoint, those tend to go about 50-50. That's some of the problem. Makes a ton of sense that neither of these two offenses are going to move the ball up and down the field, that both coaches are going to take a relatively conservative game plan. But could we see defensive scores in this game? You bet we could. Could we see a big play or two get broke? You bet we could. Both teams have a handful of playmakers on offense. So, yeah, I lean under, but I doubt I get to the betting window with it.
And finally, I expect now, I know Mosley is such a big piece of this puzzle. And if Mosley's out, I don't know if anybody knows what's going on with Mosley again, and is any inside information for the New York Jets, Mosley, but I see the Browns in a perfect bounce back spot. Perfect. A little bit of humbling helps this cocky football team. I think they could bounce back against the Jets on the road. What do you think about this spot?
Mosley is officially a question mark. I have made a bet on the Cleveland Browns. I've advised my clients to make a bet on the Cleveland Browns at 2.5. I'm with you not 100%, 1,000%. Okay. Yeah, Cleveland had a terrible week 1, and maybe they have a terrible week 2. But I look at the Browns on paper and say, if ever there was a spot for a good team, and I think Cleveland is good, to step up and wipe away the stink, this is that spot. They beat the Jets last year. That was Mayfield's first time off the bench. And they were impressive in doing so. The Jets just lost in Noonwood today. That's a bigger loss than I think people give credit for. You talk about Mosley being hurt. Quinnen Williams is a question mark for the Jets. I mean, there's a lot of issues for New York. And again, it's an offense. The Bills turned the ball over 4 times in the first half last week, and the Jets got 6 points. That might be the Jets right now. It's Cleveland or pass for this better. And like I said, I already put the Browns in my pocket, so it's not a pass for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on. I think that little humbling help.
2.5 now.
Yeah, need to get there fast. And then we have one last question about NFL. Then we're gonna move on to NCAA football, and that's this crazy line: Patriots, Dolphins. I want nothing to do with it. I don't know if it's still minus 19. Let me get there right now. Sorry. Now up to minus 19.5. I mean, this is ludicrous. This is a divisional game. The Dolphins have to have heart after that. Because if you keep losing like that, you can't leave your house. They have to step up to some extent. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to take the Dolphins, but I guess that would be the only look I would have here. And then I had some interest in a sloppy second half and an over, but I think Patriots just do enough here. There's no reason for them to win 30-0, and traditionally they have a tough time down in Miami. What do you think about this crazy, crazy spot, Patriots-Dolphins?
The single biggest edge that a bettor has over a bookmaker, and it's a real edge, and it's the biggest edge you have, it's the biggest edge I have. The bookmakers have to put a line on every single game. Line, total, first half, all of that. Every game. You and I get to pick and choose which of those lines we want to bet and which ones we have no interest in. Miami is the worst team in the NFL. The worst team in the NFL by a fairly wide margin. The veterans are all bailing. This is not a team I want any part of right now. None. And maybe the markets can. I mean, look, when they're 19-point home underdogs, the markets have clearly caught up with that. I don't trust the effort for Miami. I don't. When you quit week 1 and after the game, every report coming out of that locker room is all the veterans have checked out already. That's a problem. That's not a team anybody wants. And that's why you're seeing a line like this, which is insane. You don't see lines that were 19-point road favorites in the NFL. I don't want Miami. I don't want Miami this week. I don't want them next week. The very worst teams are not moneymakers unless they show effort. If they show effort, then there's hope. Miami hasn't shown effort yet. They didn't show effort in the preseason. They didn't show effort in week 1. I do not trust the Dolphins to do anything. And the Patriots will remember what happened the last time they went there, which was, of course, the Hail Mary touchdown for Miami to win the game over Gronk. Which is a play that I'll always remember because it cashed a season win bet for me on the Dolphins. They keep talking about it, but I love that play. And it's just burned in my memory. But New England remembers that too, I'm sure. The Patriots are every bit as good as we thought they were. Are they a team you're in? I'm in any rush to step in front? No, I don't want to bet against New England. Is there a ton of value on the Miami side? Yes, there's a ton of value on the Miami side. Am I going to bet it? No, I'm not going to bet it because it's a mismatch of a game. And the Patriots can do, in theory, whatever they want to. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Miami hangs around. Maybe Miami pulls the upset. If I was going to bet the Dolphins, if I had to bet one bet on this game, I'd go for the score and take Miami on the money line. That's what I would do. but I'm not betting the game. It's, I mean, that's the type of, that's all I would, is a pizza bet on the Dolphins money line saying, yeah, weird things happen in the NFL sometimes. From a real wager on this game, no, you pass, you find another one. At 19, you don't want the favorite, you don't want the dog, not in the NFL.
Yeah, well put. Well put. It's just stay away spot for me at this point for sure. All right, let's move into NCAA football. We have some questions from our chat, Teddy. First off, our guy, Lou Chase Fox, says, Teddy, talk about the Army game. Do you think they cover the 17? Lou Chase Fox says, I do. Also, Louisiana Tech will smash BG, yes or no? So 2 spots that our guy, Lou Chase Fox, wants to ask you about.
Louisiana Tech, yes. I like Louisiana Tech. They're on my short list. I have not yet pulled the trigger on them. I missed the best of the number. I don't know that I will. It looks to me like a mismatch. And Skip Holtz has actually been decent in the road favorite role. I went back and looked last night, tracked down what his numbers are, and went through game by game, because I really like to look at the game by game. The aggregate numbers don't necessarily do it for me. I want to see what happened. And Holtz, when they're playing a bottom feeder on the road, La Tech tends to be a team I like to take points with, not lay them. When they're playing a bottom feeder on the road, they've actually been pretty good at covering numbers. So that's one that absolutely stands out to me. We need to talk a concept here with Army. All right, here's the concept. When a team plays a great game as an underdog, doesn't mean you want to lay 17 with them as a favorite the next week. All right, yes, Army way overachieved last week. And not separate. I mean, they did the same thing last year against Oklahoma. They've done well stepping up in class against quality foes because they're able to exert their will on them. And Army's offense is unique, and they can grind clock, slow the game down, and keep everything in front of them on defense to force their opponents to dink and dunk. It's a great strategy for unders, a great strategy for Army as a big dog. That does not mean that Army's going to blow teams off the field as a favorite. They still play the same way. It's a very slow pace. It is not a team that's going to, be running up-tempo offense. So for Army to cover numbers like this, they have to be extremely efficient. You can't have penalties. You can't have field goals. They're not built to cover 17-point spreads as favorites. They're built to cover 17-point spreads as dogs. So Army in this price range, I have no interest. I mean, I don't want the dog there. I mean, the dog's garbage. That's why Army's laying 17. But when a team covers as a dog one week and then they're laying the next week, we're like, oh, that's a good team. It's a completely different situational spot. And they're coming off a brutal, devastating overtime loss in the Big House. No way I take Army this week. Wouldn't even consider it.
Wouldn't even consider it is the answer. Next up from our guy, Bookie Lover Q. Bookie Lover, and Big Ragoo saying my sentiments exactly last week, past this week from Big Ragoo. So he's backing Teddy's breakdown there. From our guy, Bookie Lover Q, whom I had the pleasure of rolling with in Miami, whom I love. He says, ask Teddy about Buffalo -3 at Liberty. I took Buffalo and Ravens -13 and the over in the pick 6. Ask Teddy about Buffalo -3 at Liberty.
Okay, so Liberty is a bet against team. I bet against Liberty week 1. I should have bet against them again last week. I didn't. But I want no part of Liberty right now, period. So it's a priori a Buffalo or pass. As we've talked a lot in college, I do not want the absolute bottom feeders. Buffalo is an interesting story because the betting markets, the broader betting markets, really thought, last year Buffalo was great. And then they graduated everyone. They graduated the quarterback who went to the NFL. And, they graduated most of their offense and most of their defense. And it was like the cupboard's bare. Buffalo, a team that from one, most of the time we talk about power rating adjustments from one year to the next in college football. For 100 of the 130 teams, there's minimal. And then, there's a handful of teams you get a 2, 3, 4 point adjustment. And then there might be 10 or 15 teams at the most. Excuse me. You're either going to bump way up or bump way down. And Buffalo was one of those teams that they lost everyone. The markets crashed on Buffalo in the offseason. And then we saw last week, maybe the single most misleading final score in college football last week was Penn State 42. Was it 45-13? They won by 32. It was a 3-point game at the half. Buffalo outgained Penn State for the day. So the markets are looking at Buffalo a little bit differently this week than they were last week, which is maybe this team isn't as far down as we thought they were. I don't know whether Buffalo is as far down or not. I do know that Liberty's a bet against. I also know that I'm not excited about laying points on the road with the team that I had coming into the season as one of my top bet against. So they showed something last week. They should win this game. If you're playing, Buffalo's the way to look, but it's not going to make my card this week for that very reason. I don't know that what we saw last week means that Buffalo can actually play, and they're not as bad as we thought they were. I'll find that out at Liberty this Saturday, although even if they win this game, I'm not convinced Buffalo can play. It's just Liberty's pretty bad. Yeah, Buffalo or pass. I wouldn't talk you out of it. It's not one I'm going to make, though.
Buffalo or pass. Black Rogue says all day Buffalo. Prince of the City letting us know it's now -5.5. Our guy Jerry Beatty says, Teddy, what about USM? And Black Rogue says, I love this spot for Southern Miss. What do you think about the Southern Miss spot this weekend?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. What's the freaking game? Southern Miss. I know I looked at it. And at Troy. I don't have a strong opinion. I really don't. When I can't think off the top of my head who they're playing, it means it's not a game that I've done a ton of work on yet. So I don't want to give you bullshit. Am I allowed to say that? I don't want to give you nonsense. It's not a game I put a lot of time into. Troy, for me, they were not overachievers in the Neil Brown era, but I worry about the Trojans program taking a step back this year. So in general, they're not a team I'm excited about backing, but I haven't done anything with Southern Miss yet. And like I said, nothing that I've done a lot with. So pass. Sorry.
There is a pass there. And Brandon Lugo liking Southern Miss +2. Right below that, Rod Zawacki says, Jimmy, ask about Maryland as a road fave. And he says, I am taking Maryland. And he's not the only person backing Maryland. Black Rogue says, I'm on the Maryland train as well. What do you think about Maryland as a road fave?
All right, this is college football handicapping 101. All right, it's really, for early season, I can't explain it any other way. Maryland blows out a bottom feeder at home week 1. Looks better than expected week 2 at home against a team with a suspect defense. And now they're going on the road, leaving the friendly confines, and they're laying a premium to a team that's nothing like the first 2 teams they just beat. Temple's going to beat you up in the line of scrimmage. Temple's physical up front. So a team that's dominated week 1, week 2. Maybe Maryland really is that good, and maybe they're just going to roll through the first half of the season, and if you bet Maryland every week, you'll go 5-0 or 6-0 ATS. My experience in Vegas shows that's the exception rather than the rule. The rule tends to be teams like Maryland that blow out opponents at home and they go on the road and face somebody real. They tend to be overvalued in this spot. I could only look at Temple plus the points in that game. Maryland right now, for me, is an overvalued commodity. And if they come out and blow out Temple this week, then the market's going to be white hot on Maryland. I mean, they're already hot on Maryland, as we've seen. It's going to be even hotter if they win this game by margin. So I don't know. The Terps, for me, are a team that, if you wanted to bet Maryland, great. Hope you had them week 1 and week 2. That time is come and gone. When a team stands out in their first 2 weeks, and when their results really stand out, those become hard teams to back moving forward because everyone's all over it. The markets are on it. And at the beginning of the season, everyone pays attention in college football. We get into late October and people are looking at NBA and college hoops and this and that and the other. Sometimes you can find teams that, have really changed their stripes, but the markets aren't quite as locked in on it. That's not the case for the Terps coming out of the gate. Everyone has paid attention to Maryland so far, and that, in my opinion, leaves them overvalued moving forward.
I like that. That makes a ton of sense. We have 2 more questions. One from Suze387 in Hawaii and one from Prince of the City representing Philly. First off, Suze387 says, what does Teddy think about Washington to cover the 21, 21.5, or 22, depending on where you shop, against Hawaii? Washington, big favorites at home against Hawaii. What do you think of that spot?
So the Warriors are not 2-0 again. They've got the best record in the Pac-12 this year, and they're not even in the conference. I don't think they go 3-0. Hawaii gets the receivers that are too small to play in the Pac-12. That's their recruiting base. That's where really, Rolovich, that's all he does is trying to get the 5'9" guys with speed. If they were 6 foot, they'd be playing at USC or Washington, but the fact they're 5'9", they're playing at Hawaii. Which means that when they face up against an elite defense, and make no mistake about it, the Huskies' defense is elite. I really worry about Hawaii's receivers' ability to get open, and they're not going to move the football on the ground in this game. Their offense has to be those crossing routes and getting guys into space. That I don't know how it's going to work against Washington. Their secondary is big and physical, and it creates problems for teams like Hawaii. That being said, I mean, laying 3 touchdowns and more with Washington coming off a loss, and last week's game was so weird against Cal, and they had no energy in that contest when the crowd left. It's an awkward spot. My initial lean was towards Washington minus. I'm not going to pull the trigger there. The back door will be wide open in this game if the Huskies pull out their starters, and, up 25 in the fourth quarter. Hawaii's a threat to come in through the back door with a late TD. They're not going to quit, and they've actually been good on the road. The conventional wisdom is take Hawaii on the islands, bet against them on the mainland. If you've done that in recent seasons, you've lost money. They've been a fairly good road team. So not a game I'm going to bet. My initial lean was towards Washington, but there's enough reasons why I'm not excited about laying this price with the Huskies. So I'll leave it alone.
Interesting breakdown. Sue's 387 agreeing with that breakdown. And then Prince of the City says, Jimmy, ask him Kansas State versus Mississippi State. He liking the over in that spot. And then Matt Randall jumping in saying, I love the over in this spot. What do you think about Kansas City State, Mississippi State?
It is a game that has piqued my interest. I'm interested in the Wildcats plus. I'm interested in the over in that game. I have not pulled the trigger on either one yet. That's a game that I'm going to do some work on today. And tomorrow, I'll let you, if you ask me tomorrow, if you remember to ask me tomorrow, I'll let you know if I actually pull the trigger or not. But Kansas State is on my short list. The over is on my short list. I wouldn't talk you out either one on Wednesday, though I might try to talk you out of one of the two tomorrow.
I like it. Well, I will remember to ask you for sure. I'm a copy and paste machine over here, Teddy. Big Ragoo says, what about this huge total on Washington State, Houston, 75.5? Big Ragoo says, I like the under. And then Black Rogue says, Ragoo, yes, I like this under as well. Huge high total, 75.5, Washington State, Houston.
You're not going to get me betting the under in this game. Look, we know what Washington State's going to do. All right. Mike Leach hasn't changed his stripes. They want to throw the ball 60 times against Houston, and Houston's defense was bad last year, and it hasn't impressed me so far this year. I think Washington's going to get their fair share. Washington gets in the 40s in this game. Maybe, I'll say Washington gets 240 and above. The question is whether Houston can trade points with them, and I think they might be able to. Again, we got Holgerson, guys. We know what this is going to be. Fast, up-tempo, lots of plays. It's the game where we could see, 170 plays run in this game. 160. I wouldn't play under in this game. I would expect both teams to be taking shots and both teams to be throwing the football all over the field, which means lots of incomplete passes. And it's such a difference when there's 60 incomplete passes versus a team that's running and the clock just runs and runs and runs. When the clock doesn't run, you're getting 4 or 5 drives each team each quarter. Lean over in that one. I would not want the under.
Wow, interesting, very interesting. Yeah, that's a very touch and go spot right now. Well, we got to put a bow on this, but our guy, a leader of men, Dom Ricci, says Teddy needs to give our queen of the low baggers, Red Girl, a shout out birthday message. Yes, Teddy, we love Red Girl very, very much. Dom Ricci has anointed her queen of the low baggers. Could you please give our girl, Red Girl, a shout out, Teddy, for her birthday today?
Absolutely. Red Girl, happy birthday. Enjoy it. I hope you have a great day, and we'll do it again next year.
We will do it again next year. We had the honor and pleasure of hanging with Red Girl in Miami, and pretty much, Teddy, we set up a whole SBR trip just so we could hang out with Red Girl, and that's basically it was a success. It was a great success, getting to meet Red Girl and hanging with her. Teddy Covers, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell everybody, all the low baggers, where they can follow you on Twitter and what sort of stuff you get up to on Twitter.
Sure. Well, I'll tweet out this show every day for one. So if you're sleeping in and you need a reminder, I'll tweet that out to you. Teddy_covers on Twitter. I like to, I tweet out all weekend with stuff that's going on in college and the NFL, and I tweet out links all week. Anything that's interesting, and anything that's interesting to me, I'll retweet. Check it out at Teddy_covers. I encourage you to follow. And so many of you have followed me over the course of the last week or two. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
There he is, Teddy Covers joining us. What a great guy. You can catch Teddy Covers here every morning on the Morning Betting with the Bag show right here on SBR. Thank you so much for joining us, Teddy.
Cheers, guys. Have a great day.
And then we still have to discuss quickly, and we're going to hammer it on the late show, but we still have to discuss the WNBA before we put a bow on this. What we've seen is the Sky opening at -5.5. Now it's 6.5. They are taking money right now. They are taking money. And then we have Link Storm. We see a lot of people backing these home squads, and this total is rising in both games. Mercury Sky total opens at 168. It's now 170.5. This Link Storm total opens at 150, and it's now 151 or 151.5. I'm going to start talking about what people are already on, and then we can make some more moves here. First off, Von Polo liking Phoenix Mercury money line. Phoenix Mercury money line and Storm -2.5. You know, I'd love to hear what the experts of WNBA think about this spot, but pretty simply put, it's the big interior play, the physical interior play of the Mercury going up against the spectacular guard play of the Sky. And it feels like this is the Sky's chance to send a message and tell the Mercury that you're too old. And that sort of feels like what's going on. Antoine Seymour says Sky own Phoenix, especially at home. Antoine Seymour backing Von Polo, Antoine Seymour going up against Von Polo. In this spot. It just feels like a Sky coming out party to me. That's what I'm thinking in this spot. Rod Zawacki on Sky -6 and Storm -2.5 backing the home spots. Red Girl is on the Storm -2, and Red Girl says Sky links and Sky over are the play, and we've seen money coming in on that over right now. Von Polo says, I really like Phoenix tonight. Rod Zawacki says, Mystics win it all, hands down, take it now at -120. There's been talk about them being the best team in the WNBA. There's Ski Profit on the Sky and the Lynx. Wow. This is very, very interesting. We've touched on every MLB game on the morning show. And Mally Mal agreeing with Ski on the Sky and on the Lynx. Pink Eye Genie says Mercury will quit in the second half. Griner probably gets thrown out. Wow, Pink Eye Genie. We are going to have a lot of time to break down these two spots in the WNBA on the late show. I'm excited about that. I'm going to reach out to a couple of people and see if we can get an expert to come on the show and break these down. Sorry we didn't have more time to talk about it on the early show, but we will on the late show. I'm only on 3 plays. 3 plays. I don't even have to look them up. I'm on both Ohio teams. I'm on Cincinnati and Cleveland, both on the -1 line. And I'm on the over 10.5 in the Red Sox Jays. And I have a sneaking suspicion that I'll be on it again tomorrow. But definitely today, over 10.5. We know that we expect there to be no Mookie Betts in the lineup, and that doesn't concern me at all. Doesn't concern me at all. Von Polo says, I got the Mystics to win it all at +160. Put 300 on it. And I'm about to hit them again. I'll be looking for you to score with that, Von Polo, our guy Von Polo. On behalf of everybody here, thank you guys so much for watching the show. We have no show without you. And thank you to our guests today, Parlay Papi and Teddy Covers, wishing Red Girl an incredible birthday. We need to give her a play of the day. And when I'm looking at this card, my play of the day for Red Girl, let's see if there's been any movement on it, just to make sure that I don't need to be afraid. Quickly, I'm going to see if there's any movement on this spot. Here we go. Totals. My play of the day is Boston Red Sox, Toronto, over 10.5. That's my birthday play for Red Girl. Red Sox, Jays, over 10.5. Much love all to you guys. Let's have a big night tonight. Let's do some study in the afternoon. I will see you guys on the late show. We have special guests on the late show. But most importantly,
Leche, los bookmakers.